Hello everyone, this is Artemiis from Renegade here back once again, and I am going to present to you today the new content for Nightmare's End. This is the conclusion to the events which have been happening in the Kessex Hill map, where just recently we had the giant Toxic Alliance tower spring up the middle of Biathane Lake. Now, as we can see from the map here, the tower has been destroyed, and so we're going to take a look at exactly what's happened in this patch. Also, at the same time, we'll see that over here that Christmas is running concurrently, so you can see I'm dressed up in style, and I want to give sort of a broad overview of basically the few things to do in this patch. Since it is running at the same time as Christmas, it's not actually that big of a patch. So what's going to happen is when you first have a character load up the map of Kessex Hills, they're not actually going to enter the worldwide area. Instead, they're going to be entering an instance version. So I'm going to repeat this instance by talking to Marjorie's helper D here, and selecting the I can't believe we actually brought the tower down option. So I'll click Revisit the Nightmare's End. Now, this story here, hey there, we're just looking at the new content for Guild Wars 2, just this 2-week patch. This story right here is the exact same thing as what's going to happen when you first enter into the map. And you will get, as usual, a mail in your inventory which will say, go to this place, go to Kessex Hills, and you can access this again. So when you first access the map, you're going to see Casimir and Marjorie waiting for you once again. Talk to Marjorie to start this sort of scenario here.
I personally am a fan of Guild Wars cutscenes where they're actually cutscenes.
What are we missing?
Not we.
Absolutely. The talking heads are not exactly the most appealing all the time.
But also, they just give us
We have a look around. See
if
if you can spot the weak point of these magical defenses.
So this is a very, very quick story here. It takes only about 8.5 minutes, so we're going to try to whip through it as fast as we can. Basically, what's happened is that when the tower was active, we were constantly doing a boss fight so we could inject antitoxin into this heart up here in the hopes of shutting the tower down. As Casimir just pointed out, that wasn't actually working, and now we're going to try to investigate why that would be. So, as I just did, go up to the antitoxin machine, grab a dose of antitoxin, and come over here to this vine passage. Pour antitoxin on the vines, and you're given access to Scarlet's secret chamber here. So, the goal in this room is basically to get 4 different unusual items that are accessed by completing these 4 puzzles.
Damn Scarlet's eyes. She knew we wouldn't be able to just kill this plant.
There are actually 3 different achievements based on completing this instance. If we go into Living World, the nightmare is over. So first of all, there is Nightmare Ender, which is just completing the story in any way you like for the first time. This took me about 20 minutes the first time. However, there are also 2 different sub-achievements for repeating the story like we're doing right now. Nightmare Euthanizer for completing all 4 puzzles without messing up, and Nightmare Terminator for choosing to fail all 4 puzzles and doing the combat versions. So, let's take a look at the different options. So first of all, we're going to see there's a Toxic Spore Pod. If you click on this combat icon, that would be making a combat choice, so we're not going to quite do that yet. We're going to pick up the dry roots from over there and the stick from in front of the toxic pod and go over to Scarlet's lab table. Here we can soak the roots in lamp oil. We have a makeshift torch. Then we can light the torch at this little fire pot. Go back over here, interact with the pod, and burn it to the ground. And that's 1 puzzle completed without any foes spawning. So then we'll pick up the dead toxic spore, and we see that we have 1 of 4 unusual items recovered. Next up is the Molten Coolant Box. This is one that a lot of people actually will mess up on. So we can see that there are 3 different options here, and we want to choose Examine Controls for shutting down power. First, we want to choose Flame out of these 3 options. Then we want to choose Icicle, and finally Iron, and throw the switch. And we can see that will once again make the box power down without causing any fights.
We're onto something there.
Giving us our second scrap and letting Marjorie know that we're actually doing something useful. Third is the Inquest Terminal. Once again, we could just turn off power to the terminal and have Inquest operatives appear. Instead, we're going to try to interpret the analytic data. We want quantitative, that's working with numbers, sorted by effectiveness, and then apply this data sorting. Once again, that's going to give us air-themed items, this time Aetherblade data, and leaving only 1 puzzle to remain. This puzzle first requires healing the Watch Knight here, and then we're going to have 4 different commands that we can possibly use. Now we need to access the list of the 4 different commands, so we'll go to the Asura recorder. So we have nobody breaks my toys but me. These watch nights you're so proud of, mine now. And nothing wrong with you I can't fix forever. Try to read the scribbled diagram, and you're not really going to get anything out of it. It's just a clue to reactivate the watch night. So now, talk to the watch night, and go ahead and select Nobody Breaks My Toys But Me, which is going to shut down the watch night
Now that's what
and
I
give you the
call
watchword
success.
core. Marjorie will tell you that you've got a success there, and you can go put those 4 items into the forge.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
You see that Marjorie will get a sort of glowing item that'll shut down the heart of the tree. So we're going to let her get ahead here. And this path has made sure that we should have Nightmare Euthanizer when we finish this little excursion here. So we're going to watch as Marjorie approaches the heart of the tree here.
That'll do the trick.
And it gets angry.
Did you hear that? I think you made it mad. This is going to sound crazy. What if it knows? What if it
So I'm going to pull
knows
out my
about
Fire
it?
Element Powder and Ogre Pet Whistle.
Are we about to
Also
do?
buff myself up with a Nightmare Core Push.
My antitoxin into the stock of this thing until it
And
can't
Marjorie's going to
take
go a little
another
bit mad
drop.
with power.
Look out! Toxic Alliance!
And immediately we're going to have a couple of foes be spawning. Finish off the last foe, and now we have the option to interact with the injector once again, deliver the antitoxin, and we get the Nightmare Euthanizer achievement down here, showing that we did indeed complete the puzzle correctly.
We gotta get out of here. When the last dose hits the plant's heart, all bets are off. Who knows what will happen?
Then you have a very stereotypical video game escape sequence here. Casimir is going to create a portal, and everybody needs to hop inside. You can look around for any last chance to pick up loot, but there are no chests or other things that spawn, so you might as well just get out of there. Which is going to make your reward chest appear. You hear the little tingle, and you're sent back to Keswick's Hills. This is the current load screen, by the way, showing the destruction of the tower. And then you get to watch it blow up. Remember, to get all 3 achievements, you'll have to watch the sequence 3 times, actually, as it happens. So let's enjoy. And for completing this, you'll get 5 pristine spore samples and your choice of an heirloom seed pouch or shell pouch. I don't know what the difference between the reward tables are for them, but I've always gone with the seed pouches, and I've gotten exotic weapons from these already, so I would go ahead and just probably stick to those. You'll be put out right beside this little encampment here, where you can immediately talk to Marjorie's helper, and you'll notice that all of the items which you could previously get from her are still available, including the healing tome for a limited time, so you might want to pick up on that while you can. And, like we said, she gives you the option to head back in. So we're going to keep recording for now, go ahead and do the all combats option, and then we'll just talk some wrapping up of the... And here, whenever possible, we're going to want to try to create the combat options. This is actually going to be relatively difficult here. We're going to be fighting some of the toughest foes for each of Scarlet's alliances. So we see right away we have out of our Molten foes, we do have a Molten Protector, possibly one of the toughest living story foes in general. So once again, I'm gonna say, pull up your fire elementals, pull up your resistance potions, anything you've got. And definitely do not overload more than one console at a time, or you're going to be dealing with some pretty serious problems, actually. And there we go, we're just barely able to finish off the Molten Protector. We can pick up our first scrap this time. Make sure you let your hit points heal all the way to the top.
She knew we wouldn't be able to just kill us.
And go hit the next terminal, where we're just gonna unplug the thing and wait for the Aether Blades to appear. They're gonna try to catch us off the bat. I'd focus actually on the Aether Blade hallucination with lightning attacks before hitting the veteran for this particular matchup. But overall, none of these is going to be quite as difficult as the Molten Protector was, which is why I decided to start with that one.
Ready for more.
Once you defeat the veteran, you'll have access to the Aether Blade data,
We're onto something there.
taking you up to two different successful items. And we'll head over. This time at the Toxic Pod, we can just completely ignore all the little puzzle pieces and skip straight to the veteran Toxic Demos.
My friends.
Pop another fire elemental.
I'm bleeding.
And these ones are not actually going to become down, so it makes it a little bit easier to take care of them. Also, it's pretty easy to split foes up in this little section, which can help a lot with things like the Molten Protector. Once the veteran is down, you'll pick up the dried spore, taking you to 3 different components. But before you go activate the Wash Knight, you're going to want to make sure to take care of any remaining foes that you might have from any of the 3 challenges. And as usual, heal up. Last but not least, we have the Watch Knight. We still have to revive it. Activate the recorder. Look at each of the phrases. And this time we're going to want to say, "These Watch Knights you're so proud of, mine now." Which will immediately turn the Watch Knight into a veteran twisted nightmare.
Might, glory.
Your fourth one. I'm gonna try to stay at range here and maximize my greatsword damage. And there we go. That takes us to 4 different items. Go ahead, place those in the forge, complete the event. And Marjorie gets her orb again.
That's what I'm talking about.
So once again, we'll cut out to the ending sequence of the fight, where we should see that we have gotten the Nightmare Terminator achievements. And thanks everybody for watching. We may cover some of the Winter's Day things later, but otherwise, stay tuned and subscribe and like if you liked the video. Bye-bye.